Welcome to a webcast produced by the Learning Enhancement team at the University of East Anglia. This webcast is part of the Steps into Numeracy series and concerns percentages. This study guide is designed to help you understand what percentages are and how to convert between percentages, fractions and decimals. Introduction. What is a percentage? The term percentage is frequently used in everyday and academic language and is given the symbol this. A clue to the meaning of a percentage lies in the word itself. Per, meaning divide by. Cent, meaning 100. In other words, the symbol percent represents the mathematical operation of dividing by 100. Importantly, a percentage only has a meaning when applied to a given quantity. For example, it is common to see retail sales expressed as 20% off a given price, or restaurant bills with a 10% service charge of the total bill. Many newspaper reports discussing taxes, unemployment figures, and the economy use percentage as a simplified means of conveying size, scale, or value with respect to a given figure. Percentages are useful for representing increases and decreases in a given figure or quantity. There are some specific percentages which have a special meaning. 100% represents the whole of something, and 0% represents none of it. When statements which include percentages are used in complicated contexts, your intuition may not be reliable, and you should take care when drawing conclusions from such statements. For example, when percentages are discussed, you may hear figures which are over 100%. Whether this is appropriate or not depends on the context. For example, it is perfectly acceptable for a business person to state that profits have increased by 100%. However, people who talk of giving 100% effort are showing a fundamental misunderstanding of percentages. It is also worth remembering that large percentages of very small numbers are still very small numbers, and small percentages of very large numbers can still be very large numbers. Expressing percentages in different ways. A percentage can be thought of as so many parts out of 100 individual parts. You can think of taking a whole and dividing it into 100 equally sized pieces, each piece representing 1% of that whole. Recognizing that the symbol percent represents a shorthand for the mathematics divide by 100 allows you to express a percentage in different ways, either as a fraction or as a decimal number. See later in this guide for examples. It is useful if you are comfortable converting between the three representations, percentage, decimal, and fraction. Practicing these conversions will make working and calculating with percentages easier and more natural. See study guide Using Percentages. The use of percentages in statistics is common, and you will often see data expressed as a percentage and/or a decimal number and/or a fraction, which are used interchangeably as a matter of course. The main reason for this is that different representations of percentages suit different situations. Take an event which occurs 34% of the time. It has a probability of happening of 0.34 and can also be thought of as happening 34 times out of 100 on average. The best way of communicating this statistic is dependent on the context in which it appears and the perceived audience. Percentages expressed as fractions. A common way of expressing a percentage is as a fraction. If you are unfamiliar with the language of fractions, you should read the study guide, Types of Fractions, before carrying on. The conversion from percentage to fraction is achieved by replacing the percentage sign with divide by 100 and rewriting this mathematics as the corresponding fraction. It may also be beneficial to express the resulting fraction in its simplest form. See study guide, Cancelling Down Fractions. Example. What is 19% expressed as a fraction? To find the answer, replace the percentage sign in 19% with divide by 100 to get 19 divided by 100 and write the corresponding fraction. So 19% equals 19 divided by 100, which equals 19 over 100 expressed as a fraction. This fraction cannot be cancelled down any further. You should notice that the percentage sign, this, is not present at the end of the calculation, as it has been replaced with divide by 100, so it would be incorrect to include it. It is important to realise that the equal signs, this, tell you that 19%, 19 divided by 100 and 19 over 100 are exactly equal to each other. Example. Express 20% as a fraction in its simplest form. To find the answer, replace the percentage sign with divide by 100 and write the corresponding fraction. So 20% equals 20 divided by 100, which equals 20 over 100, which equals 1 over 5 in simplest form. Here the fraction has been cancelled down by recognising that the numerator and denominator have a common factor of 20. This more simple form should help you see that 20% is the same as 1 out of 5. Percentages expressed as decimal numbers. Another common way of expressing a percentage is as a decimal number. You will often see percentages expressed as decimal numbers in the description of probabilities in statistics. For example, a certain event is mathematically described as 100% likely, or of having a probability of 1. Similarly, an impossible event is mathematically described as 0% likely, or of having a probability of 0. It is also common for the decimal form of a percentage to be used in calculations. As with the conversion to a fraction, the conversion of a percentage to a decimal number also involves replacing the percentage sign with divide by 100. You can perform the division by 100 by either moving the decimal place 2 places to the left or by moving the number 2 places to the right. Example. Express 15% as a decimal number. To do this, first replace the percentage sign with divide by 100 to get 15 divided by 100 and then perform the division. Mathematically, this is written as 15% equals 15 divided by 100, which equals 0.15. Example. Express 20% as a decimal number. Again, replace the percentage sign with divide by 100 to get 20 divided by 100 and then perform the division to get 20% equals 20 divided by 100, which equals 0.2. You now have 3 representations for 20%. 20% itself, 1/5, and 0.2, all of which mean the same thing and can be used interchangeably to suit the context. You may already know fractional and decimal representations of common percentages, such as 50%, half, and 75%, 3/4. The table below gives some common percentages which you may find useful to learn. Percentage, 100%, fraction, 1 over 1, decimal, 1. Percentage, 75%, fraction, 3/4, decimal, 0.75. Percentage, 50%, fraction, 1/2, decimal, 0.5. Percentage, 25%, fraction, 1/4, decimal, 0.25. percentage 20%, fraction 1/5, decimal 0.2, percentage 10%, fraction 1/10, decimal 0.1, percentage 1%, fraction 1/100th, decimal 0.01. You may also find the following diagram useful to help you move between the different representations of percentages. If you want to convert between a percentage and a fraction, you put the percentage over 100. If you want to move between a percentage and a decimal, you divide by 100. If you want to move between a decimal and a percentage, you multiply by 100. If you want to go from a fraction to a decimal, use a calculator to work out the division. Further guidance and information. If you have any further questions about numeracy or would like to discuss any other aspects of mathematics, you can talk to your lecturer or personal advisor or make an appointment to see a learning enhancement tutor in the Dean of Students office. You can telephone 01603 592761, email dos.help@uea.ac.uk, or visit our website at www.uea.ac.uk/dos/let. There are further resources on many other aspects of numeracy, mathematics, statistics and science available from the Dean of Students office and on its website. These include questions to practice, model solutions and webcasts illustrating essential skills. This guidance is one of a series on mathematics produced by the Dean of Students office at the University of East Anglia.